Well, hello there, sinners. That's how we're starting off now. Um, yeah, I that's I'm just gonna hope there's no YouTuber out there that has that intro or Twitch streamer, because sinners sounds
No,
like a
but
very
there's
good one.
probably a televangelist out there.
Oh my god, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hello today, sinners. Welcome.
Well, hello there, sinners. How's it going
Yeah,
there?
yeah, I was gonna say the other direction to take that is absolutely the WWE, or I should say professional wrestling as WWE.
It used to be
The most
the
famous is
Worldwide
probably not
Wrestling
the best.
Federation.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, that's the World Wildlife Federation.
Right. No, I've
And so
not.
somebody took the two icons and it's like two pandas beating each other up with folding chairs.
I have not seen that. I need to look that up. You
Yeah,
know, that's
it's
actually
just
worth
goofy.
going over to my other. I don't need to hear us.
Yeah, we suck.
I need to see this picture of. That's funny.
Oh, I forgot to actually post in the Discord that we're live. Though,
Discord.
looking at it, we are now seeing that. Oh, never mind. Sage has been posting. I just had to scroll down. Okay. Well, we're ignoring the fact that Sage has follow through on his channel. All right. So I guess what do we want to do? Do we want to engage in finer points of building? Do we want to search out the world a bit bigger? Um, or
um.
because there's
You mentioned we have the biggest ship now. That sounds fun. That sounds
now I will say
exciting.
that the canal that I dug to get us out of this
Oh,
landlocked
isn't
lake
deep enough.
isn't deep enough. So we would have to,
So
I
what
believe,
if?
either dig out the channel deeper
Uh-huh.
or make kind of a second naval oriented base.
I was just about to say, like, this base is like wood, and now that we have stonework, maybe a bit outdated.
Yeah, we
What
we
we
would have
could,
to do some tearing down.
yeah, absolutely. But it might be the smart move to build a secondary base out
That
of
sounds like a good
stone
idea.
near the water, the real water.
Now, we do have that island that we previously kind of
Was that?
leveled,
That's true. That's
and that is
true.
just on the outside of that channel, so we would be able to ship our metals pretty easily. But if we
Yep.
wanted to go far away
Portal
and then
everything else.
resettle,
Yeah.
the only barrier to building things farther away is shipping metals to and from. Otherwise,
Yeah.
literally every other thing can be brought through the portals.
Portals.
Which, fuck yeah.
Um. Yeah, that sounds cool. Does the biggest ship have better shipping capabilities?
It's got, um,
Aha, there we
I
go.
think I forget, it has more, storage slots in the hull. It's
Uh-huh.
also, it carries more people, not that it matters because it's just the two of us. It goes faster and it has higher durability. But it is wider and it does have more depth to it. So it's got the most difficult maneuverability to it.
Got it.
Oh, and then just to demo a couple things, let me just grab some iron right quick. Where did I put the iron? There it is.
Middle chest, last I remember.
I kind of
Crafting
shrunk
station
down
needs a
all of the
roof.
chests, so it's like 3 or 4 chests up here instead of 12.
Oh, nice.
Iron chests are like 2.5 times bigger in terms of storage space,
Got it.
or 3 times.
Nice.
Absolutely fucking poggers.
I like it.
um, but yeah, there is like actual stoneworking, like stone walls.
Yeah, I saw that flash up. I keep. I'm just gonna keep jumping.
And then iron gates. Get it? Because this is made by Iron Gate Studios.
Alright. That's not
That
terrible.
was a stretch.
Crafting station needs a roof.
Yeah, a lot of these crafting stations are just for being able to place stuff down.
Uh-huh.
They don't
Got
really
it.
it's
Makes
kind of a
sense.
womp womp situation.
Carrot seeds. I got some carrot seeds.
Now,
Got some
do we
turnip
still
seeds.
have a portal down on that island? I don't think we do.
Don't believe so. Wait, is that the one the troll? Is that the troll keeps
That's
spawning?
Troll Island.
I don't know if we wanna.
So, I
Will
did
they keep
look into
spawning there?
this. So,
Yeah.
spawners aren't allowed to put out their target so long as there is a crafting station around. So if you intersperse crafting stations and you can build your architecture around a crafting station, like put them in the walls and stuff, then that prevents any enemies from spawning within your territory.
Got it.
It also works if you like place like an item down for like a wall or like a staircase or something. Nothing will ever spawn in or on top of or immediately right next to any of the things you place.
Got it. I'm. How do I? Like trying to plant seeds and it says use them on what?
Oh, so you have to have, I'll put this little cultivator tool in there. You take that and then you can plant the seeds. And it's essentially works just like
Uh,
the hammer or the hoe or
yeah,
any
okay.
other crafting tool, I think. I did make us a couple of stronger bows because we
Ooh,
were a couple
yeah.
tiers behind.
Yeah.
So yours is in the spare gear chest, which is now big enough to actually contain everything.
Nice. Does the fact that I'm over planting in this area affect the turnips?
So if you're overplanting, what you'll see is like these turnips by the tree needs more room to grow. And then as you pull out the healthy turnips that have come to fruit,
Uh-huh.
then those ones will start to grow. Kind of like actual seeds.
Got it. That's cool.
I really want to name the other boar Boris, but goddamn UK politics.
Oh, didn't even think about that. I think of Boris the spider. Honestly, is the first Boris I think of.
Nah, I just think Boris Johnson and then the Price is Right losing horns plays. Boris Johnson. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's a reasonable sound to play in that
His
context.
government fucking collapses and he's just like, well, them's the breaks.
What? Absolute shit stain of a human
Oh
being.
shit, Lebowski.
So does
Um,
most of everyone in politics.
how's it going, Yoshino?
What's up?
We've been off a couple weeks, but we're back now. We're as attractive as ever, and we are volleying up Heims. Yeah.
True.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll also notice this
Love
fire
that.
is now an honest to God hearth, not
Wait.
just a
Ugh.
campfire.
Oh yeah.
So there's all sorts of neat little stuff that spawns.
Nice. All right.
Oh, and thank you for the subscription, Yoshino. If my little doodad is telling me right.
Wait, this looks like there is a portal still active.
That, if you recall, is to near
It
the
is.
Elder.
Yep. You're right.
You can have multiple
We
portals
moved
down. You
it.
just have to then change the tag that it's
Hmm.
under. So normally I'll put like a signpost next to the portal with all the different tags.
Oh, that's smart. I'm gonna level up and jump. Or maybe I shouldn't do that at the same time as sprinting.
Oh yeah. So should we craft a ship and ship out?
Let's do it.
Now, the number one question I have. Hope you fall in the fire. Okay, that you joke, but
That
we've
happens
done
to me
that.
all the time. That is
Yeah,
not.
we've fallen in. I've died to it at least once in this
I mean,
game.
look,
No Name's
it's
got
an
three.
open area, and then there's a big fire, and you have to
Luckily, it's
go.
harder to walk in.
Yeah, but all you gotta do is this. Oh, you're right. I can't get in now.
Yeah, I'm a goddamn good builder.
It's well done. I appreciate that because I kept dying. Yeah, I'm not gonna run into it from that side. This game doesn't like it when you run upstairs.
Oh God, no. Especially the steeper stairs. It's it gives it conniptions, I guess. All right. Iron nails is the next one, but this one is deer hide resin, bronze nails, fine wood. Wait, we can go through the portal and destroy the old boat.
What?
Haha. Because we have a boat on the other side of this portal
Oh,
that we're
yeah.
not gonna really. I mean, I can't imagine we'd use it, and if we did, we'd probably spawn out there with the bigger boat.
Hmm.
Sorry, Bodie McBoatface. I'm off to play a horror in a minute, though. Love you guys, but you didn't show up to Halloween so far. I am sorry. I got kind of ridiculously sick for Halloween.
What did I
That's
just
kind of why we were, mainly why we were off last week. But we love you, Yoshino. Thank you for your subscriptions and your terrific sense of humor.
And for stopping by so often and hanging out. We appreciate you being here.
You are the Giga
I'm also
Chad of
sorry that I didn't
viewers.
make it.
Oh, I forgot. You can't bring tin through. We'll have to come back for that tin.
Yeah. I think I just like fell asleep watching a movie. I don't
See you
know.
soon.
What a boring Halloween. I should have gone to the stream.
All right. Do you have the boat materials?
Uh, I have a bunch of bronze nails and fine wood. Yeah, I have the boat materials.
All right. We bring that.
We need, wait, so what do we need? We need bronze nails.
Surtling core, or no, you need 80 bronze nails,
Mm-hmm.
20 deer hide, no, 10 deer hide, 30 fine
Got it.
wood, 20 resin.
20 resin. Okay. Because I already put back the resin in it, so I wasn't. Oh, no, there. So I also got some core wood from it. Do we need that? Or was that maybe stashed inside it?
Um, that might have been stashed inside of it.
Okay. That
Core wood is how
tracks.
we get these big ass logs, though.
Got it.
This 25 wood. God, I really wish there was like a little list that you could pop up of like what you need for this item, because I am
Oh, yeah.
so bad remembering like just even menu to menu. All right, place the boat,
Ah,
Kronk.
I should be able to. I should be able to jump really high. My jump skill is at 23. And that
Uh,
being Michael Jordan's number means that it should be the best
is,
number for
is
jumping.
it not letting you swim? No.
No, it's not.
Are you gonna start drowning? Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
already drowning. Shit. Let me just
Oh, and I've only eaten 2 meals. Is it worth it at this point?
here. Um, try walking up
Too
this.
late.
Fair.
I mean, whatever, I just run down there.
There. I put a staircase there so none of us can drown over there now. I forgot to bring my 10 wood with me for a crafting station whenever.
That's a good call. Items recovered. No more naked Norsemen. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well.
Your body's just floating over there all casual.
I know. Wait, so how does our metal armor go through the portal then?
If it's crafted into an item, you can bring it through. So if it's like
Yeah.
metal nails, um,
Oh,
but
interesting.
if it's like refined or raw metal, like
Mhm.
ingots and ore off limits, basically everything else on limits. And
Right.
there's people that have made mods that kind of circumvent that rule because a lot of people see it as kind of like a really arbitrary limit.
Mhm. Yeah, if you can do it on one. Wait, this boar is attacking the walls again.
Told that one ain't right, I tell you what. That boar ain't right.
Did I throw out that turnip?
How am I Vol doing? I almost said Valheimen, but that didn't really work. No, I guess it doesn't really work. How's it going there? Welcome to the stream. We have turnipo lanterns. No, I'm sorry, jacko turnips. And some
Honestly, I
ungrateful
like turnip
boars.
a lantern better. Maybe turn a lantern if it needs to be shortened, but like Jack was never pumpkin. None of
True.
those words mean pumpkin. So I guess it's just a jack-o'-lantern in a turnip.
Though colloquially, Valheimen does work if you're talking about playing Valheim for the first time. All right,
Oh,
I will just jump off this, just drown myself here.
oh my gosh. Why am I trying to, I'm not trying to make a red and white striped banner. Why does it say that I am?
Oh, speaking of, we do need to have a little fashion contest for what we're doing with these banners. So far, we can
Oh,
make purple, yellow, white and red stripe, blue and black. Well, we're glad to be here with you when you're on your closing duties and stuff. We're just a fun bunch here. We're trying to figure out how to build a boat, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
building a boat? I guess it probably That's probably accurate.
It should be under the miscellaneous tab.
Give me 1 second. I'm just repairing all this. This might be the old base now, but we want to
Leave it in ship
keep
shape.
it for now.
Yeah, I just realized that trolls, now that we've started beating the second, or we beat the second boss, trolls will attack our base. So whatever we build will have to be troll proof.
So definitely stone.
Exactly. Can you make a
Fun.
banner that looks black and blue to some people but gold and white to other people so you know that you can fight over
God
which?
damn
Yeah,
it. I forgot all about that shit until you said that. uh, Still don't understand.
yeah.
I mean, the answer is everybody's eyes work differently, and that's fine. But it's also
Color is an
simultaneously
illusion.
baffling. Yeah, exactly. It means it's a oh there. Sorry.
It's like what is isn't like purple or something is just a
Holy
hallucination.
crap! Did Why did I build that in the air?
Oh, that's a
Probably did.
boats because of the way the water physics work will only work
Oh.
when they're like you have to put them at the air and then they start at ground level and go down to water level. It's a
Yeah.
physics thing. Would you like to ship steer or shall I?
I'll steer.
Your Vol steer?
I'll steer.
I love that. As I was gonna make a stone dock, but I was like, A, do we want to continue to build at this base? B,
Yeah.
that'll just turn our boats into rubble unless we have the big one, which then runs into
Uh-huh.
1A. Do we make the channel deeper or just expand our horizons? Because if you zoom out of the map, you can kind of see just how
Oh my
small of an
god.
area we've discovered.
I didn't realize you could zoom out.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I did, but like I never realized how much.
this entire
Holy
continent
goodness.
we've been on is just a
We're just
small island. Magenta isn't a real color, it's actually green, but the brain can't process it and it just goes magenta. Yeah, that's there's a
freaking
few different
wild.
colors that work like that and they're called imaginary colors and it's kind of wild when you think about it because all colors are just light reflected off of an object and you can trick yourself into seeing that light as it reflects.
So,
Like super orange, like Google
oh,
super
oh
orange so you
yeah.
can imagine it. Oh, are you just running us into the ground?
I was
And there's
definitely
just a
looking
troll in the
over
distance. Oh, that's really close to our base. Fucking trolls.
What did I do?
Is it working?
Did I get out? I mean, you're pushing it. Oh, yeah, we want to be on the left side for the ladder. Alright, I think we're clear.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
So where are we going?
So, if once I zoom back into this really tiny area, you're going along this coastline. You see the channel kind of to
Yeah,
the
that's right.
starboard? No, port.
I, the port at B, Captain.
And then I think the island is port forward once we get out of the channel. Also, if you ever see the fish in the water, they are goofy as fuck because they don't have an animation to them. They are just a solid object. that moves through the water, and
Yeah,
it's
it kind of
kind of
they
fucking
kind of feel
hilarious.
like they have a little bit of motion. They tricked the corner of my eye because the water moves.
Except they don't like when they're swimming
But
downwards,
right,
then is
but they're
the
just
illusion is
I
shattered.
messed up again.
Now, what did we say about drunk boating?
I was looking at the scenery, which does not specify that it wasn't drug boating, I suppose. Did we set a campfire here?
Oh yeah, I kind of put them there to kind of like at night. This area is a bitch for boating. I mean, any land is a bitch for boating.
Oh, smart. There's lily pads in our boat.
Yeah,
I'm
the physics aren't
resting.
top notch. Oh yeah, because of the fire.
Yeah, that's another benefit of it. Uh-oh.
And then yeah, it's just kind of that narrow patch through the rocks there. You're gonna want to like just go as fast as you can through there.
I,
Huzzah! And then it's just arc to port, and then straight
that's
ahead.
it. Yeah.
Theoretically, we could do it on this tiny, tiny little baby island, but that would just be making ourselves have more work.
Hmm.
No Name, were you a Silent Hill player back in the day?
I
Um,
was not. I couldn't do horror for the like games for the longest time because it was too much in it. I could watch movies. I've always been able to read horror books and stories, but no, for a long time, horror games was too much.
yeah, that was Resident Evil when I was a kid really messed me up because I was playing those games with my older brother when we were like when I was 9.
Hmm.
9-year-olds are not the best um target audience for horror games where you see people get eaten
Especially,
apart.
yeah.
But uh now I can. It's just before. No, God no. I watching the first Resident Evil movie, I had to sleep with the lights on in my room for like a week.
Um,
Oh, and then they say, get drunker on more boats.
get
We
drunker
we
on
have good audience.
more boats.
All right, now where on this island would you like us to build our port?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the best one qualified to answer that, but if I were to go with my gut says adventure, and adventure says the unexplored side. Although logic would say the side that's already cleared for building.
I'm just gonna
And keep the forest as a barrier between us and the unknown.
I'm gonna just place like take some of this wood and start building workshop
Alright.
tables.
Oh, I
Just watch
accidentally
us
brought
have
the
luck.
cultivator with me.
I mean, that's fine. They're like 2 bronze to build. God, is this what the settlers to Minnesota did? Cuz they cut down like what was it?
Yeah, I
70%
mean,
of the forests in
I
Minnesota
was
were
gonna say
logged.
lumberjacking companies. There are like tons of large lumberjacking companies. Pretty wild. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna have to quarry stone though for this building. We had
Luckily,
tons of
from the
stone we
stuff,
could have brought
yeah,
over.
that's what I'm thinking cuz it'll like overload us, so we'll just take it on the cart. put it on the other side of the
Yeah.
portal.
Oh, you can take a cart through a portal? I forgot.
You can't take a cart through a
Oh.
portal, but you can put one on one side so you can just keep running back and forth.
Oh, I see.
That would be nice, though. Alright, so this one's looking like a pretty good port side. It's got kind of a shallow area. It's behind these... Or it's between these two island... Or land masses. Well, you know how kind of desensitized I am. Silent Hill 2, it kind of creeps me out even to this day. Yeah, that's fair. Silent Hill 2 was it definitely served to define the genre.
Yeah,
Or
I gotta play that one.
I mean, I suppose maybe not define the genre, but at the very least make it
A
it's like
prime example of it.
yeah, like a good bellwether.
Mhm.
All right. I guess with this, where would you like our primary building to be? Just kind of up top? Do you want to kind of build out from one side of the island? Do you kind of want to build?
Um,
Ooh, so this channel here, we could widen out and kind of build a port that we would sail a ship or two into, and then
oh
have like
yeah.
walkways above the boats and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That sound like what we're doing?
I'm down for that.
All right, time to get rid of this. Let's get rid of all this fucking rock. That'll give us plenty of stone to build with.
What do we pickaxe?
Yep, just take a pickaxe and widen this channel enough for probably 3 of our boats wide.
Cool.
We also just have to make sure we can get up out of the water.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. I'm carrying too much. Oh, well of course I am. I almost have 50 wood.
You've got plenty of wood, I'd say. But I'm sorry, folks. I never left 12th. Oh, 12th grade is pretty old. I never left 2nd grade.
People were making jokes like that in 12th grade.
Fair, fair. I was just reminded of how little 2nd grade Tim used to have toilet shyness. So I would hum in the bathroom, and so the other kids in my grade, of course, heard this, and they nicknamed it Tiny Tim's Toilet Tunes.
Oh my god.
Newest album of the decade. I'd totally call it genre defining. Honestly, it stands out above even the rest of its own franchise.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Silent Hill, and that's why I'm really glad it's making a comeback, because honestly, it's like something that, for as big as it was, to have it just kind of go off the radar was
I know. It's weird that it just wasn't around suddenly. I mean, not suddenly, but suddenly. I don't know if I was digging deep enough.
I think to dig as deep as we need, because like I guess we can take the materials for building the biggest boat, drop it in here, and see if it fits once we think we have it deep enough.
Hmm.
Hey, look, we're doing what they're going to do to the boundary waters. We're strip mining it.
God, it's depressing as hell.
That's why, like, the gubernatorial race in Minnesota is, like,
Uh-huh.
definitely a lot bigger because uh, Jensen has said he will definitely endorse those deals
Right.
and make sure that they go through,
And with
despite what
and
all of the
wall split.
ecological uh,
Yeah.
testing is like. Basically, every independent thing that looks at it is just like, yeah, doing
Yeah,
sulfide
no.
copper mining in the boundary waters will
It's gonna
likely,
fuck up the entire country's water.
yeah, like the water supply for like 500 miles downstream of the Mississippi would be fucked up, which does include the entire state of Minnesota.
The
Not to
people
mention
are not
several of
happy with
species
walls.
of like amphibians, reptiles, mammals, birds only live in the boundary water canoe area.
Hmm.
And you're like, okay, but Tim, if they do it safely, then it's fine. But here's
Show
the
me
thing.
the one
What is
time
it
they've ever
over
done it safely.
exactly? Copper sulfide mine cannot really be done safely because every time a company is done with that area, they just kind of go, all right, we're just going to cap this thing in a cement underground thing and it's fine. And then within about 10 years, it breaks open. And we just have to look at copper sulfide mines in other states to see what happens. And it's communities that opened the mines to create economic stability in their area and open up jobs. But then all of the economic profits of opening up the mine were stymied by having to pour all of that into what you have these Superfund sites. Sorry, can you tell in college I had to do a whole project on copper sulfide mining? And to hear it kind of just become like, because like when I was researching it, it was like, oh yeah, it's likely never gonna happen. And then suddenly it's just like, let's kill the planet. It'll create 30 jobs for 5 years.
I I was just thinking like, oh, what was the thing I did a report on how caffeine was terrible and damaging and coffee's been pushed for this much and for this long because it's to increase your production and increase your output to increase profit for owners. And now what do I do? What have I been doing for the last majority of like 10 years? Oh, you
Oh,
know, I've been selling coffee. Been doing the thing I did a report on that was bad. I'm
portal is
building.
open. But yeah, that's kind of like how that college is like, here's how the world should be. And then you get
Yeah,
out into it and they're like, yeah, sorry, we're going to need to have you open
sorry.
up a copper sulfide mine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was all pretend. The part where we were saying we're on your side.
Yeah.
Nobody is. No, that's not true. I will not say nobody is on your side, but it's up to you to find the people that are.
All right, the portal is now actually for realsies open.
Well, I'm about to die by Grey Dwarf. Simply because I have no self. Thank you.
Yeah, those gray dwarves are a brute. Get it? Because they're the gray dwarf.
Uh,
I total they had quite a few mediocre to bad games in a row, and Konami killed all their IP for a while there. They also gave Castlevania and Metal Gear still buried. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I forgot how badly Konami killed all their IPs there. They just like, guys, poor people don't need water. Yeah, yeah, that's the well, and we would be poisoning all the water that they want to that the really smart folks over in the West, like there was talk for about 5 minutes about piping water from the Mississippi over to like Western states that are dry. And it's like, no, that's not even how that fucking works.
Yeah, that's just
That's not
not
how
how it
that
works.
works. Also, they came out with that like whole little thing like in the winter of this year, and now we're coming on the other, like we're coming at the end of the year, and it's like Mississippi doesn't have enough water to flow correctly.
Oh God, really? I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
seen that.
Water levels in the Mississippi are fucking up shipping lanes because they're too shallow for some boats to pass through now.
Literally, we're at the point where it has to change, or in order just to sustain the version of the world that they want, and it's
Well,
still not happening.
and for some people, for some reason, like we thought groundwater and river water and like lake water was all different. We
Yeah,
thought groundwater, like the water table, was just something that we could drain from at any source, but the lakes and rivers would still be good.
yeah.
And then we're like, oh shit, that's not the case. Growing all these crops in the desert is fucking up the Colorado River. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep those farms in the desert. Guys, we can't get rid of our alfalfa and sprouts in the middle of the desert.
I mean, obviously.
Don't worry about the big mountain-sized ice chunk is gonna fall off in the Arctic and cause a global flood, kill us all, so water levels will even out then. I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, the amount of fresh water that we have will not increase because the glaciers are just turning into salt water. So we will end up with a water planet with very little oh, I'm gonna die.
So,
Is this what death looks like?
fucking Noah's Ark is about to happen. Is what you're telling. The story of Noah's Ark was actually prophecy about.
Well, they're actually um in Noah's time, they did find there was massive flooding. The time scale might have been a bit off for it to be exactly where it said in the Bible, but
But someone telling the story later wouldn't be wildly off. No, I think I have heard that. Oh, god damn. Damn. Oh, at least we got a portal up. Um, that's kind of how I've always felt about like spending a lot of time and energy on eating healthy. Is like, whatever, the planet's gonna be uninhabitable by the time I'm 80, so
yeah,
I'll
like
have that hamburger, please.
what is it? They say large portions of the Midwest will see like temperatures over 110 degrees by like 2050, and we'll have like
Yeah,
larger droughts that will cause desertification of previously arable cropland.
precisely.
Thankfully, though, Minnesota relatively insulated in terms of global effects. Yes, some of our biodiversity will decrease, but
I mean,
um,
it already is. But yeah,
but yeah, we're surrounded by shit tons of fresh water. So
right.
the humans will live, and a majority of
As
our
long as it's not
biodiversity is
irradiated.
flexible enough, except for amphibians. Get your frogs in while you can, folks. They will be gone by the end of the century.
I know he fucked things up. He was banned from accepting a Game of the Year award for his last Metal Gear game by Konami's lawyers. That's pretty fucked up. That
Jesus
is
Christ. Fuck
pretty
Konami.
unacceptable.
Sorry, but not sorry. All right, now we have some of this shaped out. No, we don't. This is a very God, big builds. I forgot how much of a pain in the ass they can be when you're just starting out.
Tracks. What the hell? These freaking Grey Dwarfs are getting annoying. Why are they?
I'm coming over to the land of more wood to just grab a giant stack of wood and just go to town on these crafting stations because fuck Grey Dwarves.
Oh, right, to get them away. Nice.
And to repair because we don't have a forge over there yet.
Wait, what happened to the workbench here?
Oh, forges have to be used to repair metal util like weapons. Yeah, metal weapons and armor have to be repaired at a forge.
Hmm.
Everything else can be workshop.
No, there was just, I was talking about there's a bench here that was
Oh
not
shit, maybe
is
they
not here anymore.
did they destroy our bench?
Mayhap, but I got it back up.
Yeah, Konami fucked things up. Keep in mind, Hideo Kojima was banned from accepting a Game of the Year award for his last Metal Gear game by Konami's lawyers. I don't know if I read that out loud yet, but yeah,
I think I did.
that is absolutely massively fucked. Like, oh, if you're low on health and stamina, I would top up on food or top up on food again. There we go. Or top off.
I just ate when I was back in the base.
Definitely fuck Konami. Management has changed a lot since then, and they seem to be at least trying to right it now, but let's wait until they actually release something to say they've changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That is definitely fair. And I'm I am honestly hoping
We have a chest
and
over
rooting for
here.
change.
I'm gonna build a chest.
I'm gonna load up this cart with stone and put
Nice.
it by the portal. And then we can start building structures so that we can make this a little bit more streamlined. Good thing we actually kept all this shit from when we were harvesting.
Um,
I
is our
can't get the
cavern?
cart up this ladder.
Oh no.
God damn it. Oh my god, the cart physics are so wonky. My god, I can't wait until the another major update comes out for this. All right, new idea. Because I can't get the cart over the ridge.
Mm-hmm.
I will just bring all of this stuff to a chest on the other side of the portal. Or the chest that's behind the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Adapt, innovate, overcome. Now, I guess another hard part is going to be like just okay. For the port, how high of an area or like how high do we want the walls of the port to be around the ships?
Interesting question. Probably at least 2 units of wall height, right?
Yeah. So like
Or anti-troll.
fuck you, Grayling. I have hope too. What I know I like is that Konami isn't actually making any of these 3 Silent Hill games themselves, but rather they've taken pitches from small indie developers and then greenlit projects under these other studios.
That's a good way to do it, honestly.
That is promising.
And whoever does the best gets it if they. I would love it if they kept that model. It's a cool model, but I have a feeling they might do a whoever's game does the best makes the next one. Um, has anyone watched any of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix?
I haven't. Is it I guess would you say it's worth watching?
I haven't finished it. I think I've watched 4 or 5 of them. I think it's some great horror. It's really great horror short story adaptation. I've read a number of the ones that they do, that they adapt, and they did a really good job. I think it's the second one called Graveyard Rats. They captured the attitude of the short story incredibly well.
Well, that's good to hear. I always love
Very
when
fun.
they're when creators are able to properly adapt short stories without losing
Mm-hmm.
some of the more subtle tones of the work.
Yeah, the like hour-ish long TV series, like streaming TV series format, is really good for this because each story is, or each episode is isolated and just a different short story.
Now that's the way to do it. You play the guitar on the MTV.
Money for nothing. Drinks for free. Drinks for free. I don't remember. There's a number of different.
Or checks for free?
I have no idea what it actually is. I've heard a million different things. And by that I mean like 3 or 4, but you know.
Accidentally pulled out the hoe and got, like, just put stone where I had just gotten rid of it.
I didn't know that the hoe can put down stone.
Oh yeah, it's the hoe has a raise stone option, and it allows you to manipulate the terrain. It's like 2 stone to elevate.
Cool.
You mean like the 2 seasons of 40-minute episodes that Netflix made out of green eggs and ham?
Excuse me?
What?
Is this a real thing?
Apparently.
I mean, like, that's okay. That's absurd, but also, obviously, they're adding story to it, and it's not really. Its story's based on green eggs and ham. They can't have extended green eggs and ham that long, unless it's just the fox rhyming in a train or in a. Not even not a fox, dog guy.
100%.
I would probably watch a couple hours of that rhyming show just out of morbid curiosity. Oh,
Yeah.
what?
It's like watching Yummy Mummies, a show about um, rich socialites from Australia who live around Melbourne, and they're all pregnant, and it's about their incredibly wealthy
So it's
baby
one.
showers and stuff.
Um, it's Real Housewives, except real,
Yeah,
except Australia, I guess is the
and they're
way
all
to.
pregnant. It's
And
like a
they're
group
all
of
pregnant
pregnant moms.
specifically, yeah.
And there's one who, my baby is wearing everything Versace, and he will never wear the same outfit twice.
Dear God.
Oh, and
I
then like
mean,
the baby throws up on the
then
blanket and
donate.
they just throw it away.
Oh my
And
God, I
it's a
was gonna say at
Versace
least
blanket.
wash it, and fucking donate that shit. Jesus, people are gonna people.
I assumed Yummy Mummies was just meant Ulysses ran out of live meat for his cooking. No, yeah. Remember how people used to grind up mummies into powder? And to
I
like,
mean, I don't personally remember it.
okay, that is a thing that was done. That's like why
Yeah, I
there's
know
so
that
few
that's a thing
mummies.
that happened. I do not personally. Uh, I was not personally present at the time.
Yeah, yeah, I was not personally there for that, but I do recall it being something that happened.
Yeah, it's like the. I have knowledge of that event, second or third hand.
Yeah, whoever says Britain is the center of the civilized world, or it's one of the most civilized, or that they brought civilization, they are the people that
British.
were digging up dead people and putting them on their food. The British in the 1800s specifically used to eat mummy ooze, I'm guessing as a delicacy.
I mean, that just seems like it's like a power kink, right? It's like, haha, I'm eating your vanquished dead. I stole you. Let's just.
I'm eating your
pa-
ancestor, haha.
Yeah, it's like, that's not. That doesn't. That can't be tasty. Oh God, now I'm thinking about it. Like, the body is like spiced and prepared in oils, and then.
Yeah, the body
uh,
is like,
I hate that that maybe would. Uh, I can't say the word taste good. I
yeah.
can't apply that to this concept, but like,
At the same time,
yeah, I was gonna say, but I understand, but that's not what I mean either.
it was genuinely about the flavor. Okay. Christ.
Yeah, no, that weirdly makes sense, and I don't like that fact.
I don't like it.
There's nothing I can do about it. It exists in my head now. That I see where you're coming from. eating mummies? No, except no, I don't. I the people part of is where I stop, but like those oils and spices on another meat, yep, I'd try it.
Yeah, if it was like
If you got a mummified, no, I wouldn't. I don't like the mummified as the preservation cooking either.
ossified.
I would much rather just have it cooked with those spices. Ugh, I'm making myself sick talking about this. So
Yeah,
going into such detail about would I eat a mummy? No, I would not. I can barely talk about it. But I also think it's a really funny uh thought experiment or something. I don't know. How low does this need to go for the ship to roll in?
um,
Because it feels
well,
like if it's bigger than our current ship, I gotta go in every spot where I can stand and dig till I can swim.
actually that's a really, really, really good unit of measurement is the depth at which you swim.
Okay.
Um, it's also coincidentally the most tedious.
It is certainly not incredibly efficient, but I like the idea of not having to have the wind behind us in order to get into the base.
These gray dwarves are wet, but it just looks like they're sweaty. God, I still can't get over just being like, let's dig up their ancestors. They taste yummy. And
Right?
then saying,
Especially because they'd all
these
be
uncivilized
horrified.
people.
Right, yeah, they'd be absolutely horrified about someone just grave robbing all of the jewels they bury their dead with.
Luckily, if we make the harbor about as tall as it is right here at the mouth of it, or not the mouth, but the end of the inlet thing,
Mhm.
nothing will be able to get on there. And then theoretically, we could just build a massive, like, make it so that there is no shoreline on this island. But we could also just build
Oh,
really
just
big
like
walls.
cliffs?
Yeah, just make this a giant
Interesting.
plateau.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, I will fall in and die at some point, but it'll be right by the spawn.
We just have to occasionally make a little area to walk up at.
Hmm.
It's like I'm starting to get why people of old just destroyed the land to terraform it, because they were like, well, I mean, this is safer. I'm not going to get eaten by a pack of bears like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense than the tearing it apart because profit. No! These great dwarfs keep knocking me back into the water deep enough that I can't drop my bow.
That is some bullshit.
Well, they learned their lesson. And by learned their lesson, I mean they learned nothing and will know nothing henceforth.
Yeah, that.
Which is definitely not learning a lesson. So if someone says, learned your lesson, did you learn your lesson? And all that they did was hurt. That's not a lesson. Other than that, that person isn't trustworthy. What am I talking about?
Uh,
I'm just
that's
giving advice about
just some sage
police or
wisdom.
something.
Um,
I don't even know what to say about
apparently, anal was in Egypt, was just like Victorians using leeches for everything, and in fact, they
Oh
studied
yeah.
Egypt and start putting leeches up people's butts and combining both.
No. That's you're doing both of them wrong.
Yeah, that's not helping anybody out. In fact, that's the
It's bad
opposite.
for everybody involved. I mean, I guess the leeches get food, but I can't imagine the pressure and constant heat and chemicals is good for them.
That was the
Uh,
medical equivalent of putting a hamster up someone's butt.
yeah, pretty much. How are you raising it? I don't have, wait, maybe I don't have the hoe on me. I
So
do.
the hoe would be, um, I think you can make them at crafting stations, but it has
I,
4 options when you right click: level ground, raised ground, path in, and then paved road that requires stone cutting.
I don't have one wood and one stone. Oh, I need something to be level 2.
I was like, I'll start mining this rock. 3 swings in, my pickaxe breaks. Thanks, Obama. Don't forget, Toth, the god of knowledge, gifted human proctology just like Prometheus did fire. Well, hey, I mean, once you
What?
figure out everything about the butt, the rest of everything just kind of falls in place. I mean, I don't actually know that, but I'm sure it's got to be true, right?
I think it's once you figure everything out, the butt falls into place.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
Egyptian
what that
mythology really needs to stop being the butt of all these jokes.
means.
You know what we didn't do with that boat that we ran over there?
Hmm.
Bring any metal.
You know, that's true.
Uh,
Oh, this fucking great drawer fruit. I'm gonna die again.
stories literally that Toth was putting stuff up his butt one day and then thought, oh man, I gotta tell the humans about this. That's just fucking hysterical.
I need help.
I am coming.
Believe it's too late. Oh, I didn't realize you were over there.
That's what I was doing. Crafting tables. I was building crafting tables.
Hmm. That's true. How did I get 2 full stacks of wood? Well, dead, and now I can't take all my loot.
Oh, maybe left them right in front of the portal.
Oh, I see.
I like how I'm wearing metal armor and stuff, and I've got all these metal weapons and stuff, and these wood people are still being such a problem this far in. Um, no name. Our last indie stream was 5 months ago.
Jeez. That's... I will try to find some time for that. That was too long. Time is really going so fast ever since I got this new job. It's frustrating. At the end of every week, I'm like, alright, it's Wednesday. What the hell? You're telling me it's Saturday?
Yeah, I'm finding piles of wood where there were workbenches previously. Nature is trying its hardest to undo us.
Oh.
And it's just like, look at what they're doing to the land. Quick, send more trees at them.
So that's what the 50 woods I picked up were from. Well, I think this wall is good enough. We might need to do a little more landscape preparation. To get a boat in, but we're getting there.
Okay, I'm starting to think maybe I didn't place enough work tables. I've probably placed about a dozen.
Is there any way to know until, or is it? Yeah, I guess is there any way to know at all?
Know what?
Um, it's a good question. Um, to know how many workbenches we need.
Um, when you're placing down the workbenches, I guess just look to see where the circle of the previous ones ends.
Yeah, okay.
Um, Also a good thing to do is keep getting that rested buff because that doubles your stamina regeneration or triples it, I forget which you get just by standing in the former base for like 30 seconds.
That's good to know.
It also I think increases health regeneration too,
Yeah, it
which is
definitely does that. We have chests around here.
um
I do that.
I guess that would be a good thing to do.
I'm gonna put them by the portal for now.
That's a good idea.
Missing requirement. Oh, what? I thought I had a ton of wood. Hmm. Oh, I just kickstarted an RPG, um, where it's the Session Zero system. It's called, where like kind of the point of the game is building a character's backstory. I think to then be put in a different game as your character.
Okay.
Um, and then like not very like just I found them a couple days ago. Just did it, and then very quickly a game I've been wanting to try. Kids on Bikes announced that they're doing uh like project with this with this Session Zero game system. So it's been a good week for RPGs for me.
Yeah, I know you had been talking about the kids on bikes one a while back, and I do
Yeah,
remember that name because it instantly makes me think of Stranger Things.
yeah, it's exactly trying to evoke that Stranger Things it vibe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the kids on bikes goes back to it.
Um, and the body, which is also known as Stand By Me, is the movie. It's sort of a kids on bikes. Stephen King was a fan of kids on bikes, apparently.
Huh. Well, that's cool.
Not the RPG, the plot.
Oh, the okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. Oh, cool. There's a giant stone vein right here. Awesome. So we're gonna have plenty of stone, I think.
Cool.
Yes.
I emptied out the
Yes.
chest by that other workbench. Did I just go build more workbenches?
I think I got them pretty scattered out. I haven't seen any
Okay.
gray dwarfs in a while, but if you want to, just make another
I'll
pass.
go, yeah, check through looking for gray dwarfs.
Oh, I did
Try
find
not
one
to
just
get.
right here. Stranger Things actually got made because the creators lost the rights to make an It adaptation. Huh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know how to see where the other one. I don't see any other workbenches.
That's because some gray dwarves have been killing them all, god damn it.
Oh, brutal. Wait, but even when I just built one and I don't see its radius.
Yeah, it is being kind of finicky with when it wants to pop up. I think when you have any other creation open, you can kind of use like when you have the ability to cons- like if you
Mm-hmm.
have something to build pulled up that requires a workbench, it shows you the radius. But as soon as you select workbench, it's just like, all right.
Yeah, we got a bunch close together here.
You see
Oh,
the little stack
I
of
see
wood.
it attacking.
Oh, it's kind of funny that we're just taking wood from these gray dwarves and building the things that they were just destroying.
Right?
I am on the verge of just taking oh, the elders buff is that you harvest wood faster.
Mm.
That's a show I think has gone on way too long. Stranger Things. I do agree there. Um, it is getting
Yeah.
its final
I
season.
was gonna say they got one more season. I'll see how they do. I did
I,
like the
I
latest season
I
better than
thought
the
this last
seasons
season
before it
was going to be the last season, so I was kind of disappointed when they,
when
for
it
some
wasn't.
reason, they took what was poised to be an incredibly good ending to the show and then said, "Gotcha,"
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I mean, come on, it would have been like there were a couple loose threads, but there doesn't need to be a whole other season.
Well, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think this whole idea that a show needs to wrap up every single idea that was introduced, like, that that's not how storytelling works.
Yeah, there's going to be some
There's gonna be
mysteries.
side characters you don't see, you know, their children or whatever. Like, it gets so wildly uh in depth that you lose the thread
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
by trying to fill all the holes.
That's because they said straight up that 4 was the last one until it started coming out, and then I think it was just a
Mhm.
perfect miniseries with one season. I think it should have just ended there. Oh yeah, and that's why season
Yeah,
2 I think had to kind of stretch a little bit to make it go on because the premise had to be
yeah,
built up before it could really go forward. And that's why it just
and
felt so weird that they had gotten rid of the big bad and then for some reason it comes back.
mhm. Is there a? I mean, we would have seen a Grey Dwarf spawn on the island.
That's why I'm getting rid of some of the bigger hills. I'm just kind of turning this slowly into a plateau so that we can see. I love the forest. I might keep a lot of these trees. I'm
Yeah,
okay with having a little henge. In fact, a druid henge I think was one of the first things I built in this game once I got stone.
nice.
Especially because like you build a henge, you get some nice trees, get a couple beehives. Um, all right, I found a gray dwarf.
Where
All
did
right,
you come
it
from?
came up from where there was like a workbench right here. So I don't know where exactly they could have come from.
Weird.
Maybe we need one over here. Oh, boars. Boars, I think you can take through the portal. The 80s settings also felt like total nostalgia bait in season 2 and after. The first season made the time
Yeah,
period feel organic. But yeah, I do agree there.
they
Season
went
2
hard
onward is when you
on.
start seeing like the Coca-Cola plugs and PepsiCo
Yep,
products doing their classic can edition.
everyone's drinking Tab.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they went overboard.
And like I will say that some of the things they've come up with are like genuinely interesting premises,
Yeah,
but
it
I
could
don't
have
know.
been something else. It didn't have to be Stranger Things.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
product
think that the
placement.
way television ends up making like like good story ideas get shoved into mismatched places because it's like, well, we have a place we can put it right now, so let's put it there to make sure it gets made. Because I want to tell this story instead of having the opportunity to be like, well, that season was good. Let's do another one season show that's equally as good with similar but not quite the same ideas.
Remember all that time we spent chasing after deer?
And
That's
I
kind of
sang
wild
a
to me.
song in choir about chasing deer.
Really.
My heart's in the highlands. My heart is not here. My heart's in the highlands, chasing a deer. It's all about how, even if you move out of Scotland, it's always the best place that you want to be, or something. I don't know. I've never been. Can't speak to Scotland's power of attraction.
I'm building a level so that we can
Nice.
see if our ground lines up with where everything's being built at.
Oh yeah, that's smart. James Bond loves Heineken and don't you forget it. What?
Oh, because in like some of the recent James Bond movies, like wasn't it Skyfall where he's like on that island sipping a Heineken?
I mean, nobody ever said James Bond doesn't drink other drinks. Heineken is a funny choice.
It's
Like,
just like if you have somebody on a tropical island, having them
yeah.
sipping a Heineken just seems a little odd. Like especially a bottled Heineken.
Uh-huh. No, yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, if James Bond, I feel like if I was gonna have to pick a beer that James Bond would be into, it would probably be Guinness. It's just very British to be into the Irish beer. Can you name me a famous
You're gonna make me want a
British
Guinness
beer?
there.
Seriously though, now that I'm thinking about it, is there a famous British beer? Are they known for a beer at all?
I think British beer is known for being awful.
That's true of all of their other culinary arts, so
Yeah.
that tracks.
There's a scene of him drinking Heineken in every Daniel Craig movie, all five. And Daniel Craig did a bunch of Heineken commercials in character. Okay.
Capitalism.
Duh.
If have you seen the Tim Curry um what game was it? Tim Curry was in, I think it was a Command and Conquer game, maybe? Or something similar to that. Where at the end of the game this character goes, I am going to the one place not corrupted by your capitalism. Space! And then, oh, and then you can fully see him laugh at the line space.
God damn it.
And they didn't do another take.
That is kind of funny. Now, I just realized we want to build a stone fortress, and I don't have a stone cutting table over here. Kind of kneecapping myself, so that means we have to do an iron run.
Can't remember. Can I? Oh, I'm a mod. I can probably, maybe I can put.
So, I think what I can do is just hop on the boat with all of the iron, or most of the iron, and then just bring it on to the new world. Or would you rather do that?
No, you do it.
I am gonna go
Uh,
take this boat, hop through a portal.
I'll keep leveling out some of this area.
It was definitely Command and Conquer.
I just put the video into chat. It's worth a watch. It's definitely Command and Conquer. Good. Don't think I've ever played a single Command and Conquer game.
All right, I'm definitely starting to see less gray dwarves.
Yeah.
I guess getting rid of gray dwarves is more art than science. EA killed Command and Conquer long ago, sadly.
You know,
EA has just kind of
that
got a
track.
giant pit in its backyard where it takes all of the
I was gonna
beloved
say,
properties and it's like, hey, I want you to look at this hole in the backyard. And it's like, really? What's in there? And then you look and it, bam, shoots him and he falls into the hole with all the other games.
but for just a moment, you see the look of existential dread as it sees all its old friends.
Yup.
Bottom of the pit. And also, there's probably a few employees in there.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised if EA has, like, killed some employees.
Hey, we're gonna need you to do crunch. You can't go home for 16 hours. At the end of the 16 hours, yeah, we're gonna need you to pull a double of that shift.
Yeah. Oh my god. I feel like you're not thinking about how this affects the team. I'm
No,
dying.
I hate it. I hate it so much. You know, we like to think of ourselves as a family here. And in a family, everybody pulls their weight. What a terrible organization. Like, like if someone says that to me, I'm like, okay, then I don't want to work with you. I wouldn't want to work with family.
Yeah. Who's just like, yeah, I want to live with family? I
Work
mean,
with
work with
family.
family. Yeah.
I
I don't
would
want to
live
live
with
with
it's
my
fine.
family.
I mean, that's a real feeling at times, especially from a couple specific ages, but depends on what family you mean, I suppose.
Yeah.
Don't move back in after you leave for school until you're old enough to be like, no, I'm an adult.
Yeah, living with family definitely has a different vibe to it once you have autonomy and you're able to say, nah, fuck that.
Nope, you can do that, and I'm gonna do my thing, and that's okay. Right? It's night, and I'm not seeing any great orbs yet.
Oof. To make the largest boat, I forgot we need ancient bark from the swamps, so we do not have everything to build it quite yet.
Oh, fancy. A lot of tin on this island, not much else in terms of metals.
Yeah, and tin, I think, is only useful as one part of copper.
Right. What is, oh dear.
You can't pilot a boat if you're encumbered.
Hmm, interesting.
I guess that's a good little workaround for the pilot over encumbering themselves with thousands of pounds of
Oh
metals.
yeah. I found Grey Dwarfs. And a brute.
As all my food expired, I went from like 60 health down to 25. That was kind of
Speaking
sudden.
of, oh, I got no food on me.
That cart you tried bringing on the boat is still there.
A monument to my
Hey, it was a good idea
attempt
at
at
the time.
breaking the system. Okay, I think I found where they're spawning. I don't have enough. Oh, I do have enough wood to craft a bench. Yeah. I need one more.
I will say, or never forget, EA won worst company the same year as the BP oil spill.
I forgot that.
I will say
Oh,
EA
what
has
a
been a bit
day.
better over the last few years. It's been almost like every other
Uh-huh.
big game company started doing the same shit EA has, and then EA slowly backed out of the room to make everyone
That's
else look
really
worse.
true. Blizzard is the new. I feel like Blizzard is the new EA in terms of bad reputation.
Hey, I'd still give that. Well, Activision
Oh,
possibly just slightly
you're so
most,
right. You're so right.
because the frat culture definitely existed at Blizzard before Activision, but Activision brought with it the gross over monetization of every property.
Yeah.
Like, they're the people that said, hey, I know your games have a paid subscription. You know you can put cash shops in them, though, right?
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard as a combined company absolutely is the worst right now.
Oh, yeah, that's what, yeah, that's right. It's like, they're bad, and also, wait, why did all of my food. Oh, I just accidentally ate a puke berry.
Oops.
I was like, oh, I need food. Did the opposite of food. No, Nick, you do not need to attack me. Dude, there's no purpose to this. Let's just beat you with my fists. It was not necessary.
I think the only one of their properties they didn't manage to do something egregious to, and that was,
Yes,
I
you're
think,
so
World of
true.
Warcraft, out of all the properties, managed to have the least bullshit go wrong with it in
Well,
terms of like,
they had the most. I mean, at times anyway, had the most like lasting established team
true.
that
But I
wasn't
would
being
say,
interfered with.
I think Afraziabi and McCree, like the one the Overwatch character is named after,
Uh-huh. Was named
they were
after.
some was named after. And then they accidentally left some of the voice lines in that say things
Uh-huh.
like "I'm McCree" in Overwatch 2. They got patched out,
Uh-huh.
but it was
A
kind
little
of funny.
fast, but it was there. Someone wasn't paying
Hey,
enough
and they finally
attention.
added Bastion back in now that
Oh my gosh, I
and
know.
Torbjorn too.
A lot of the changes that happen like parallel because of the one tank change have been
Don't
interesting.
forget about the terrible Warcraft 3 remaster that removed the original game from the internet. Not only that, but it
Did
took them
forget that.
over a year for them to actually give any actual response to it. Not only that, but they still haven't implemented everything that was advertised by that company. Not only that, but they knew these things were problems and specifically just they're like their company directive was do not talk about Warcraft 3. Do not talk about it. Do not acknowledge it.
Uh,
So that was really cool.
yeah. Alright, so they are still spawning here.
Yeah.
Even next to, like, directly, clearly next to workbenches. Is it because there's nothing built at the workbench? It's just a workbench? Or.
I think normally there's like other structures that they would attack other than the workbench, but if the workbench is the only thing around, then they will
Just go to town on that?
yeah.
So should I just go around by building little bits of fence or something?
And that's now that I have a woodworking or a stoneworking table here,
Uh-huh.
I should be able to start building stone structures that are a bit more stable. Like
Mm-hmm.
they will spend their entire lifespans attacking one rock.
Cool.
There we go. Now we have stone. Now we can get stoned.
Hey, everybody must get stoned.
Wow, that consumes a lot of rock.
Alright, a budget here.
Good thing we have like a metric fuck ton of rock too, in forms of rock piles at the base.
Yeah.
Each one of these little tiles though is like 6 stone.
The only reason EA changed it all is because they actually did get in trouble with governments because of the loot boxes in Battlefront 2. Then they released the single player Fallen Order, which sold extremely well, and for the first time ever, EA realized people will buy a game if it's actually good. Yeah, for real. Um, yeah, that's very true.
I feel like once we have the outline to the harbor done, it'll really give us a good idea of the workspace that we have.
Hmm.
And then I might just place literally 10,000 stone in a chest between now and next
I
session.
mean,
All right. Now, this is the general shape of our harbor. We can start establishing, like, okay, do we want the ground, like, do we want to build off of stone? Like, just make sure we have, like, a foundation of stone flooring to build off of?
yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
All right. I'm going to go get the rested buff and eat and repair.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I might also move that. I don't know. It's really easy to be caught up in the minutia when you don't even have things like a roof or a forge.
Mhm.
Oh, do the little cartography table.
Oh, good call. All right, copied and written.
Roger, Roger. I never understood who was Roger and why did we have to say his name so much.
I would actually be curious on why it was.
I'm just slowly limping to this portal, over encumbered by 1,166 pounds. On the bright side, though, where we're building our base, I am like 60% sure there is a swamp on the other coast. And I was like, what should I build next? Should I build an elaborate hut? Should I build a pavilion? Should I build, oh yeah, a set of stairs leading down to the boat?
You know, that's not a bad idea. Oh my goodness. I might need to call it soon.
That is absolutely oakley dokley.
Starting to
Sun's getting real low
fall
there, big
asleep.
fella.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, gosh, I guess before we go, is there anything that you would like to see or do in this game? There's a lot that I imagine you would like to see or do, just in general, like in life.
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know. Sailing for adventure and uh building a castle base are pretty high up on that list, which is what we're doing right now. So, I'm quite satisfied.
All right, then I guess one thing we could start doing is laying out like outlines of
Oh yeah.
because that is one thing that's like you don't necessarily have to build a building, but the bases of the buildings, it's like looking at the like ancient ruins.
Hmm.
I also ought to build a railing for this walkway. Very, very slippery and drownable. This episode is brought to you by Drownable. Drownable, where you too can die in the murky abyss.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know. What the shit do we even build over here? What is a
I
good
mean,
first
like,
building? What goes
what
by the
about
harbor?
what about like I don't know if it's possible in this game. What about a lighthouse? Just like a
Yes,
tower with a big fire on top of it.
yes. It's better not to build them too high,
Yeah,
but like you remember where
just
I
a
placed
little
the
bit to see it.
fireplaces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's at the inlet of this thing, we'll make a giant pyre on either side.
Cool.
God, I know there's a big bonfire that you can make. Wonder what that creates. Ah, that's another thing that requires ancient bark. So that is the giant like midsummer bonfires. Those you can make, but it requires ancient bark as like the foundation.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Haha, I gave you a stack of stone. Nerd. Let's see. Star Wars Squadrons was EA2, and that studio is currently working on Dead Space remake, and after that, an Iron Man game. Honestly, I would be okay checking out that Iron Man game.
Hmm.
Like, it's not something I would have really
Mm-hmm.
thought about a
I
whole
know.
lot, considering how front and center he was in the MCU. Up to this point, it was kind of like 3 movies and half a dozen team up movies. There had to be more than half a dozen team up movies. But point being, uh, actually, I can't remember the point. All right, so currently, that bonfire is the only type of fire that doesn't go out in the rain. So, to build efficient lighthouses, we might need to venture into the swamp and kill a few trees.
Yeah, I'd be
Which,
down with that.
is that something you would want to do tonight, or would it be good to just wrap it up tonight now?
Yeah, let's do that next time.
Sounds like a plan. Well, we got a boat. We started carving out an island. We flexed our
We
muscles with,
workshopped the
yeah,
island.
we bent nature to our will. There are no more gray dwarves on this island. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. And yeah, I think that's where God will leave us off. We'll let we'll let Jesus take the reins from here on out. But until then, this has been co-host Takeover. I'm Tim, and that's no name.
Oh, I'm Norman. Sorry.
It's a we like
That's
never do
like,
that. We've done that maybe 4 times this whole
uh,
channel.
I just silence. That's good.
You too. You all have a great night. Are we? Let's see if we can find anybody to raid just before we go for the night, just to send somebody off on a good note. They don't know we're here, but we're about to know we're here. Looks like Cal Forer.
Um, yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, folks. It's been good. If you have any suggestions, just reach out to us on all of our social medias or on the Discord. I feel like we don't have any social media and we just have the one Discord. You know what I mean. Bye. Bye bye now. Goodbye. Get out of here. Bye. All right, there we go.